Hi guys, welcome to Silver Lake Honey channel and welcome to our beginner beekeeper series. This is episode 5, and in this episode we're going to go through our hives. What we have here is a Nuc Hive and a package beehive that we installed last week. And in previous episodes we covered how to install bees, how to assemble equipment, what to look for before you even consider becoming a beekeeper. So if you didn't check those episodes that we made in the past. So in this episode we're gonna go through through both hives. It's been about a week since we installed them and compare the two. We're gonna look for the eggs, if they bring in any nectar, pollen, and see what's going on. This inspection is something that you simply have to learn how to do, and this video is based for beginner beekeepers. Beekeeping is like if you have any other livestock, you have to know how to take care of them. For example, if you have chickens or sheep or goats or whatever, you have to know what kind of feed do they need, when to treat for any pests, diseases, if they're sick. You have to simply learn about that livestock. Same thing with the bees. We just can't put them in the corner and stack boxes on top of them and inspect for them to make us honey. We have to know exactly what we're looking for. For example, we have to see eggs in order to know that the queen has been there on that frame. So we don't have to look for the queen every time, but we have to know what are eggs, what are larvae, what's capped brood, what is open nectar, what is honey, like capped honey, what's pollen, bee bread. Those things you simply have to learn, and I would suggest that you read some books and educate yourself about those things. Many times I have people asking me, I have a problem with the hive. I can't see the queen and stuff like that. So in order to keep bees, you have to learn these things and how to read the frames inside your hive. You don't have to find the queen, but as long as you see eggs, you know the queen is in the hive. So let's go and check these two hives. Like I said, one of them is a Nuc, 5-frame Nuc that we installed, and another one is a bee package. We don't sell bee packages, but I shake the bees off of my hive and simulate around 3-pound package of bees with the mated this year's queen. Both of these queens are marked, and we are going to do in this series through the whole year, through different seasons, to compare the two, Nuc versus package, and see how they develop. Are they going to make any honey? Look what we're going to look for, like today with our inspections, adding honey supers in the fall, collecting any extra honey if they made for us, treating for veromites, and preparing for overwintering. Then go throughout the whole winter and the spring development, and to cover the whole cycle of the whole year. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. It is free and it only takes you a second of your time, but it helps us a lot. It tells us that we're helping the new beekeepers, and also for you, gives you updates when our new videos are coming up, and you also support our channel. So thank you very much. Let's see what's going on in our hive. So first we're gonna check the Nuc Hive. When we do inspections, you don't necessarily have to have them next to each other. I have two, as you can see in my other hives, I have two hives in each half a pallet, 4-way pallet, when you have 4 hives, but I cut it in half and have both hives facing this way. It is a lot easier for me because I have a tractor with forks to move the hives around if I have to. But when you inspect your bees, you always want to inspect them from behind the hives, from the other side, and leave the entrance. You don't want to block the flight of the bees, because they see that as threat when somebody's approaching the hives from the front. So you always want to if possible, work your bees from behind, from the back of the hive. So we're gonna smoke, use our smoker. Always smoke the entrance first. And then smoke the bees as we... If you didn't watch our last video, we provided internal feeder with 1-to-1 sugar syrup, and they almost used it all. As you can see, there's no syrup, only. So they used almost all the syrup. We also provided our own pollen patty, but they used some, not the whole lot. So this is our Nuc Hive. So what the reason why we used internal feeders is because we don't want to put, because we have many hives in this location, we don't want to block our entrance with the feeder and have bees fight over sugar syrup. So we don't want to create robbing. So that's why we use inside internal feeders. If you don't have feeder like this, you can use a jar on top of your frames. So let's see what's going on inside. Whenever you have nectar coming in, as you can see, I don't wear any equipment, but as a new beekeeper, I would suggest that you wear at least a veil or your jacket, or maybe a whole suit in the beginning, and gloves. But our bees, our genetics are very, we raise our own queens, and we select, one of the traits is to not to be aggressive bees. We're gonna remove the first frame next to the feeder and see. Okay, so on this frame you can see that we have open nectar. So one thing that I want to mention, when you do inspections, you want the sun to be on your back and shining, you know, like this inside of the frames. As you can see now, you can see a lot better this nectar. You can see shining inside the cells. So this is open nectar. It's not capped yet, and it's very moist. So bees need to fan their wings to drop the moisture, and when they after the moisture is down, then they're gonna cap it, and it's gonna be honey. As you can see, bees are really nice, not aggressive, because they have this frame already drawn and bringing on nectar, and on this side they just started making wax. You can see every cell is exposed, like they're making this way to, so they can store nectar, or they can making for the queen to lay eggs. But this side is empty, so we're gonna reverse and have nectar on this side, so they can fill this faster. So they can fill this faster and fill it with nectar again. Okay. So on our second frame we have pollen and bee bread. As you can see on this frame is all pollen. Pollen can be different colors, and when you move frame up and down, side to side, and you will then be able to see inside the cells. So on this side is pollen, and when you flip the frame, you want to flip like this, and then go up, and you will see on this frame there's some caproot and there's some larvae. There's some caproot, honey, and eggs. So this frame is a very good sample what we are looking for, and everything that what we look for we have here on this frame. So we have a cap brood right here. We have a larvae right next to it. We have eggs right here. We have pollen right here. We have open nectar right here, and we have capped honey right here. And if we poke a little bit, you'll see honey inside. So this frame contains everything that we are trying to look for today. Let's continue with our inspection of the Nuc Hive on our third frame. We have the capped brood together with some nectar and some capped honey. As you can see, this is capped brood right here, and some nectar on the side and capped honey right here in the corner. Same thing on the other side. So all eggs, capped brood, and we have queen. Our queen is marked. We don't have to look for the queen every time, but it's nice to see the queen every time. But I wouldn't spend time when I'm inspecting my hive specifically to look for the queen. I just want to see the eggs, and I know she's there. Okay, I'm going to put this frame quickly back. So when we pull out the frame, when we saw the queen, we don't want to move this frame this way and have chance of rolling and killing our queen. We always want to put it away from the queen and then pull up. It's also capped brood with larvae and eggs, nectar and pollen. And our next frame is also there's a lot of nectar coming in. So, and on this frame next to it is also nectar. So we have a lot of nectar coming in. So we don't have a need for our feeder anymore. So what we're gonna do with the Nuc Hive, we are going to remove this feeder because they don't need this anymore. You can use a bee brush to remove bees, but these bees are very calm. Nice stingless bees. That's what you want. You don't want aggressive bees. Nobody wants to work with aggressive bees. So we remove the feeder, and what we're gonna do next is, because we have this nectar right here, so this is gonna be our end frame, and right next to it we're gonna put empty frame. So this is gonna give bees something to do to draw this. And the same thing here. So we have this frame full of nectar. I'm gonna go on the side. And because we have brood right here, we're gonna put, there's nectar on this side of this frame, so we're gonna put empty right next to it. So this way they'll have more room to expand. So when they fill these two frames, probably next week, we're gonna add the second box. The way we add second box is we take one frame of cap brood, and then move in the middle of the second box, and then put the second box on top. So this concludes our Nuc Hive inspection. So that this is the first inspection for a Nuc Hive. Let's do the package bees hive. Okay, so we're gonna smoke our package bee. Okay, so let's see what's going on in our package bees. So we installed this package bees last week. It's been like a week. As we can see, they consumed a lot more pollen patty than our Nuc Hive, but they consumed less of our sugar syrup. Let's see, so we're gonna smoke them gently, and let's see if our queen has been released. So this is our queen cage that we installed between the frames with the queen candy, and we can see the queen has been released. The candy plug has been all used and queen is released between the frames. So let's see what's going on inside. As you can see, bees are occupying about 4 frames, so that means they've used only 4 frames out of 10, so about half than our Nuc Hive. These are empty, so we're probably gonna keep our feeder for another week and see if they're gonna use it. So in our first frame we have open nectar. We have open nectar and some pollen. This is from the patty. You can see all the same color, and some of them a little bit is just different color. So you can see on these bees' legs, they're bringing in something too. So these are open cells, and I see some eggs too right here. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it, but inside these cells they look like a tiny rice grain. But let's see if we can see it better in our next frame. Okay, on our next frame, it's all eggs. It's full of eggs. Right here. Okay, it's kind of hard to see the camera, but I'm gonna take some pictures with my phone too, so to show you exactly how they look like. So this is a very good sign of seeing these eggs. It means the queen has been released and she is laying. Another side of our frame, we see larvae and eggs right here. Okay, so this frame is all eggs and larvae and eggs on this side. So queen is laying. And there's pollen, eggs and larvae on this frame too. No cap brood yet. And we have queen on this side. It's right here, marked with a pink dot, looking for the cell to lay eggs. And right here we have nectar, open nectar, and pollen right here. So we're going to put the queen back and conclude our inspection for the package hive. So as far as the package hive, we're going to put their pollen patty back. They're using it heavily, so that's good. And they're used about half of the sugar syrup. Okay guys, that would conclude our inspection. So in our Nuc Hive, we saw eggs, larvae, nectar, pollen, open brood, capped brood, capped honey. So we added some more room for the bees and removed the feeder. And in our package hive, we saw eggs and larvae, no capped brood yet, no capped honey, so open nectar, and they filled around 4 frames. It's a good sign because they released the queen from her package. I had slow release queen candy. They consumed the candy and released the queen. She's laying now eggs and larvae. They use around half of their sugar syrup and half of their pollen patty. So everything is gonna remain the same for another week. We're gonna go how that hive is gonna progress. So we'll check sooner the Nuc Hive because pretty soon they're gonna need another box. So when we compare the two Nucs, he's making progress, but I'm also happy with the package bees. So either way you go, if it's early in the season, I wouldn't say it's wrong to go either with package or with Nuc. But in our northern climates, I would prefer to go with the Nuc because if you buy from your local supplier, you know you're buying the stock. If the bees are overwintered in northern climates, they have queens that have a better chance of surviving the cold winters. So that should be all for this video. Thank you all very much for watching and for your support. Like I said, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. It will help us a lot. It only takes you a second and it's free. And it tells us, gives us support and motivation to continue making these videos. Thank you so much. Happy beaking and see you next time.